Okay, so here today I have Mr. Dillon, who you all I affectionately call Pickle, because when he was in the beginning he was a bit of a pickle, dill pickle. Anyway, what I'm going to do here today, glances back at me, what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to show you a little bit about some of the timing on a couple of the basic maneuvers, just to kind of show you what some stuff is. The observant of you will see that he still has a little bit of a hitch in his left front, but we're working on stretching it out. This is just going to be a walking thing anyway, so it's a good time to help him still keep working it out. So every once in a while he might get in a position where he goes, but no big deal, I'm watching it. So I am aware of it, but he's got to, stretch a little bit and work through, and as long as I do everything as proper as I can, no extra damage is obviously going to happen. He's a good strong boy, and this is a good horse to do some of this timing stuff on, because Pickle's not in a hurry to do much of anything except maybe get some lunch. He's an awesome horse. I love this horse. When I have people that come on little ride-alongs with me, this is the one that they like, because he's pretty forgiving and he'll just kind of hang out and do stuff with you, and he's just a really good horse. So again, you might see a little bit of a hitch here and there, and his timing might be a little bit off, which would make my timing a little bit off, but I'll do the best I can to stick with him, and you'll see a lot of this stuff going on. So anyway, what we're going to do here is I want to kind of walk him off, and you want to start getting really aware of where all the feet are all the time, so that you can know what your timing is. So you want to be able to do with your hands all 4 feet. You want to be able to point when that foot is going. A lot of people will only find the front, or they'll only find the back. You want to realize that there's 4 beats at the walk, especially, There's 4 beats that you have to be thinking about, not just 2. There's 4 feet, 4 corners here that you need to be aware of. So at any point in time, you should be able to find, as we stop at the gate, you should be able to find where all those feet are. If you have a mirror, don't sit there at the mirror and try and figure it out. Have somebody on the sidelines kind of tell you if you're correct. And if you try and call it out, right behind, right front, it's not going to work, because you're not going to be able to talk fast enough. So just be able to, like you point out which foot is going at that time. So know where all the feet are. Be able to feel all 4 corners, and that's going to help you with your timing on this stuff. Because you're going to, sometimes I'm only going to talk about the front, or I'm only going to talk about the hind, because I can only talk so fast, and there's just no way for me to get all of it out fast enough. So I'll concentrate on just like 1 foot at a time. But you're just going to have to always be able to feel the whole rest of his body through your body, and then you can concentrate on one as I kind of work on different things. So if I want to just walk on this right circle, and then eventually I want to be able to turn into a left-hand circle, and I want to time it as smooth as I can, I'm going to feel this right hind swinging up underneath me. Okay, I'm going to feel that kind of going. And my hip is going with his hip. It would be very similar. Sometimes I'll say push, but I don't really mean push. It would be like guiding or just going along. Just as if you're on the ground walking and, excuse me, Pickle. If you're on the ground walking and you want to make a turn, your hip is going to be moving. No matter what you do, it's going to move. And when you want to switch, that hip is going to move. It moves in that direction, not that you push it, otherwise you look really ridiculous kind of walking around like this. But when you cross your feet and you put 1 foot in front of the other to go around a nice circle, and you do this, that hip has to come in and around. You don't dip it, you don't flip it, you don't do weird things. You just go with it. But it does push around, and that's the same thing you're going to be doing on the horse. Thank you, Pickle. He's following me nicely there. So, he's a nice big horse here. You want to have that same feel when you're going. You want to know where that hind foot is. So if I say push, don't think, push. Just think it's just going along. I do in my body what I want my horse to do in his body. And it's that simple. My hands are going to be talking to the front feet. My hips can talk to the hind feet, and there's exceptions always, but for the most part. So, going on that right hand circle, I know where that right hind is and when it's coming up and under. And he's going to do this really nice and slow because that's kind of his forte. He can move out, trust me, but he's easy at doing it slow. So I'm going to feel where that right hind is. And just pick a circle and feel that swing. If you ride your horse and let your horse kind of move you and be aware of things, you're going to feel that coming up and under. Then when you're ready to make a change, you have a moment of straightness. Feel this left hind. And when you want to start that next turn, push that left hind up and under. Now you're going to see that left front is going to get a little gitsy here. Push, push, push. And you want to have his whole body. I'll try and stop him in position here. You want to have his whole body, like from the tip of his nose all the way through between his eyes, all the way down through here, all the way down through me, and all the way out his tail, and all the way extended out in a straight line, even if it's curved. So there will be times where I'll really bump him in really far, if it's really tight. But basically, if I had a pencil hanging off of his nose and a pencil hanging off of his tail, it should draw, and one under his belly, it should all be the same line. Okay, and that'll get your bend. And my waist is bending on the same bend as his. If you're in the proper position and you're feeling what's going on, timing is easy. Okay, find that right hind. When you're ready to make the change, from behind forward, push, push. Moment of straightness, feel that left hind, push it. And again, I'm saying push, but you just change your body and make that change. And that's how it works. Moment of straightness, find that right hind. And you should be aware of where that left hind is, even when you're doing the right hind, and where the right front and left front is. But you want to be able to just find that. And that moment of straightness is good for you and the horse. I don't care if you have to walk 13, 14, 15, 25, 35 feet forward until you find that other foot, that other hind foot, you do that. And then you just start working it down until you know that you have a moment of straightness might only be that one stride or a half a stride. And then you can change that direction. But that moment of straightness helps make sure you stay balanced, helps make sure your horse stays balanced. Okay? So always know where all 4 feet are. And then, sorry, I adjusted. He stops really well. I gotta watch my horses sometimes. They get pretty good at that stuff. So if I move a little bit, they slam on the brakes. So I'm gonna feel that hind quarter in there. And then you can make a nice connecting figure 8 circle just by feeling where that is. Now, thank you, Pickle. He took a nice step back there because I stopped and he came back for me, which is always what I want. I want them thinking, not forward. So that's the first thing. Moving that hind quarter. When you change directions, feel that other hind and push that up and underneath you as you're going. Moment of straightness, find that other hind and direct it from behind first. As opposed to if I wanted to do that and I pull this nose out here, okay, and I want to make a right hand circle. Now I grab and pull this nose out here and I want to make a left hand circle. Now I pull this nose out here. Oh, he's like, what are you doing? And I want to come it out here. All of a sudden you lose all that softness. You do what you want your horse's body to do. Okay? Feel that left hind, left hind, left hind. Moment of straightness, right hind, right hind, right hind, right hind. Okay? Now, if I wanted to add the front into there, I know that right front, right front, right front, rock my weight back, right front, right, left, right. Now you're going to feel that gitch on that left side there for a second. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So I can make this circle, and if I want to come down into a nice little just turn on the haunches, I'm going to know where that left front is and where that pivoting hind foot is. And then I'm going to rock back and pull it out, across, out, across, and forward. Okay? Know where those feet are all the time. So, want to bring that front end across. Right, left, right, left. Doesn't matter if I'm even doing it a slight forward motion while I'm doing it, or if I pivot and do it. Okay? And you can see I'm not sitting here jamming on them. I'm not sitting here, let me turn around. If I take this rein here and pull it over here, see what that does to his nose? You know, I can pull that here, and that turns his nose actually that direction. So you don't want to cross that mane, otherwise you get the wrong thing here. So that's all part of timing. You have two sides of the horse, you stay on two sides of the horse. It might come up to the mane, but it's not going to come across the mane, because then all of a sudden you're going the wrong direction. Even if I counterbend, he's getting mad at me. Even if I counterbend, my hand will still stay, I might not be able to do it this direction, will still stay on the right side of his body and tip his nose to the right. I won't pull it across. So, finding those front feet, left, right, left, right. When I want to turn left, I can pull that out. Now I'm also doing my hindquarters as well. My hips are doing the hips. But if I just want to find that front right foot, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And these reins are almost always this light in my hand. I'm not gripping anything, I'm feeling them, he can feel me, I can loosen them, it doesn't matter. If I feel him come hard against my hackamore here, I'll just bump him off of it. I won't, well, he's probably not going to let me do it. Yeah. If I put too much pressure on there, first of all, he's just going to keep going backwards to come off of that pressure. But even though sometimes my reins are short, they're never heavy. There's always float in here, they're always nice and light. You can see I can do all this and still get it all done. Okay? It has nothing to do with being tight on these reins. It's following that feel, and my body feels deep down in what I want that horse to do. I feel that right front foot stepping out, left front across, right out, left, right, left. See, I can't even say it fast enough. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Stop on the right. Pull the right back, left back, right back, left back. I feel it. I don't have to sit here and crank this to get it done. I can feel it, and I'll just have the ever so slightest, you know, just feel in my fingers. It's, can't even really describe it. It's a feel. You know, how little can you do, and then do a whole lot less of that. And whichever direction I want to go, like I explained on the video with Sadie, I want my pinky to kind of point the way of where I want this foot to go. The timing and the balance and stuff, it all comes together. And I'll adjust my hands on my reins a lot. Don't tie knots in your reins. Don't put little tape on your reins. You get reliant on that tape or on that knot. Feel the weight. You should know if my right rein is shorter than my left. There's a big feel difference in there. It feels totally different. You want to be able to feel, thank you, honey. You want to be able to feel where that is, okay? You got an itch? Okay. So, practice that. I mean, just drop your reins, pick them up somewhere and go, right rein's a lot shorter than my left. find the middle, okay? So you want to just be able to do that. Anyway, going back to this, whole lot of things all at one time. So find that front, and then whatever foot you want to stop on, you hesitate that foot. And then you can bring it back. Feel where that is. My hips are moving because his hips are moving. I'm moving with him even though it's really quiet. And then when I want to step that right front out, I know where it is, and I'll just pull that right front foot out. And then I'll pull the left across, and the right out, and the left across, and allow that front to go, or that right to go forward. So it's really back. Pull it out, across. Okay? How little can you do, but in timing. Know where those feet are. Right, left, right out, left across, right out, left across and forward, and just kind of get it. You saw before where I had that string with Esther's horse. I had that rope tied to the foot and just moving it around. Same thing. Know where that timing is. Feel it. Picture it in your head. You want such a solid picture in your head that if somebody had a camera, it would just be your next move. Okay, always ride ahead. Know what you're going to do next. Don't go, let's see, I think, maybe I'll turn right. Okay, no, while you're going, have a plan ahead of you and always know where you're going. There's going to be times where an emergency is going to come up, a rattlesnake comes flying out from underneath you. You've got to get out of the way. Okay? Just, you know, at that moment, just do what you need to do to survive. Get the job done, as they say. But every moment of every time, even out on the trail, find it. When you want to go sideways. Sideways is a mystery to a lot of people. They sit there and do way too much. Don't do too much. You know how to yield the hindquarters. So I can just put my right leg back and move that hindquarter over. Okay. Now, if I want to push that, let me face you. If I want to push that hindquarter across and then just keep that front end straight and allow the horse to go laterally here. Says, are you getting off? No. I'm going to push the hind, not backwards, Pickle. Push the hind, allow the front. Push the hind, allow the front. If he gets crooked, I'll just straighten him. Whatever's out of line, I fix. So if all of a sudden his front end starts getting too far ahead, I don't have to do anything crazy. I just stop that front end, catch up that hind as much as I want to catch up that hind, and do the hind and the front, hind and the front. If all of a sudden I want to make a turn on that front end, I just stop the hind and allow the front to keep going. And then I can go sideways by hind, front, hind, front, hind, front, hind, front. If I want to get the hind further, I just stop the front and yield the hind. I just stop the front by saying don't go any further. Here I'm allowing it. I'm allowing, let me change direction so his left front isn't compromised there. So I want to be able to just, I'm opening up that left and just thinking that I still want to keep going that way. I want to turn. I just stop this front by freezing my hands in midair and allowing that hind to continue as far as I want to. And then just simply finding the position again. Hind, front, hind, front. Now if I don't want this over there, I just simply stop the front, yield the hind as far as I want to yield it. I can bring it all the way up to his nose if I wanted to. Well, not today because of that shoulder. But you saw that with Sadie where I could bring that hindquarter all the way up. Let me walk him forward for a minute. He is the lateral movement king. I mean, he can move laterally like a son of a gun. He's just a little stuck still on that left shoulder, but we're really doing a lot better on that. So, anyway, and I'm not going to push him and hurt him. One thing I learned a long time ago, if a horse gets hurt when you're on them or when you're doing something, that's your fault. Never the horse's fault. So, anyway, but I still got to try and stretch him out here. So hind, front. Now if I want to just add a little bit of forward movement to that sideways, I just angle and think more forward. So I just take my hip and push it, the hind and the front, the hind and the front. And now I'm thinking about going up there instead of directly over. Okay? I know, Pickle. Walk him out again. So it's all about just nice and easy timing. Always be able to pick out at any point in time where those feet are going. It's going to be hind, front, hind, front, hind, front, hind, front. Trotting is diagonal, okay? But walking is hind, front. That front is leaving, that hind comes forward and that front leaves. So it's the hind coming forward, that front leaving, okay? And then the next one. That hind coming forward, that front leaving. And then depending on how well, your horse tracks up or whatever, some horses are naturally the hind foot's going to land behind the front foot. Some are going to land exactly in the same footprint. Some are going to reach in front. Some are like crazy buddies, and man, I'll tell you what, they just, that hind foot comes out their front nose almost. They just really get up and underneath there. And it's the way the horse is built naturally. You can work on different things and get them doing different stuff, just like their headsets. Some horses have a really high headset by natural. Some have a really low headset by natural. So if you have a horse that's naturally really high-headed and you're constantly dropping that head down to look like some picture that you saw in a magazine somewhere, you're going to start causing all sorts of lameness issues all over the place. He actually got cast a little bit ago, so. But, you're going to cause all sorts of issues. Don't force them where they're not able to carry themselves. It hurts them. It really does. So use what they got and get it soft. Whatever it is that their body is, get it soft. Get it listening to every movement that you make, and you'll always be okay. If you try and turn them into something that they're not, if you turn me into a linebacker, I'm going to get hurt. Okay? If you turn a linebacker into, I don't know, a pixie, probably something's going to happen. So you want to be able to, you got to take this horse and just get them as soft and as light as possible, as responsive to you. You get them responsive to you by you being responsive to them and responsible to them. Just really, I can't stress it enough, work on what you've got here. Don't turn them into something else. Know where they are. Start getting them to really follow you, and every little movement they should be able to follow. And that's, there's nothing better than that. Doesn't matter what the horse looks like. It can be the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life, but I'll tell you what, if they give you a whole lot of heart and they try and they're really with you every moment of every time and they're paying attention to you, man, that's like $1 bazillion to me. And always be aware of it. And if you ever do too much, slap yourself a couple times, start again. Never yell at the horse for doing something that you asked them to do when you thought you were asking them to do something else. A lot of people do that, and that's just not understanding your timing. So if you're asking them to go well, I won't go sideways again, poor Pickle. Okay, so if I'm asking him to do a circle up here, and all of a sudden I pull this hand way back here, and he's no longer doing a really nice circle for me, don't start kicking and whipping the horse because you pulled him out of position. Think back to you first. Is my timing right? Do I know where those feet are? Do I know where my body is? Am I sitting like this and trying to ask him to side pass to this direction? Am I sitting like this and asking my horse to back up? Am I sitting like this and asking my, what am I doing? Fix you. Allow your horse to come and find you. And that I tell you will be the best thing in the world, because they will listen. If you give them something to listen to, man, will they listen to it, and you'll never go back to being mean, or not mean necessarily that it's ever on purpose, but we all realize exactly what we do when we start getting really soft. We look back at ourselves and beat ourselves up. But I think back 20 some odd years and I'm like, whew, got a lot of stuff done, but I also had a lot of stuff that probably was done a little bit different than what it could have been done. But you learn, you live, you learn, you grow. And I better be better today than I was yesterday, and I better be better tomorrow than I am today, and learn something. So, you know, look back only to remember what you learned, but not to beat yourself up for what you've done. Just the only time you're going to do that is if you say, I'm not going to get any better, and I don't ever want to get any better. Then you can beat yourself up a little bit. But if you're going to be to where you want to learn, don't fret about the mistakes. You got to make mistakes in order to learn. If you don't make that mistake, you're never going to learn. Same with the horse. You got to let that horse make that mistake and learn from it. It's only if you make the mistake and you make the mistake and you make the mistake, you make the mistake, you make the mistake, you make the mistake, and you never learn from it, you never change. You know, your horse starts bucking and he hasn't bucked before and stuff like that. What's going on? Figure it out. Don't yell at the horse. Figure it out. Look to you. Look to equipment. The horse is usually just responding. If the horse ever gets hurt, it's your problem. Other than, you know, if they're not there. If you're not around, but I'm saying if you're with that horse. So, you know, they're just really good partners and friends. So take care of them and find your feet. Think about balance. Think of what you'd have to do in order to get it done if you were on the ground, and just get that timing going down. So anyway, now that I jabbered enough, that should be it, and I will see you next time. Thank you.